Hi Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I am going to be doing your February 2020 full moon reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. Now, the impact of this full moon will last from February 9th, which is the day of the full moon, to March 9th, which is the day of the next full moon. Now, if you are moon sensitive, the impact can be before and can last a little bit longer, but this is the time frame of the reading from February 9th to March 9th. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be moving your Moonology cards and your Queen of the Moon cards over to the side. I'll be using those at the end of the reading to layer on top of the tarot to really let Luna speak for herself. And I have them all up here to describe the impacts of this moon and this time period from February 9th to March 9th. So let's see what the tarot has to say. And if any of these cards speak to you, they're all listed in the description box below. So how will Sagittarius be affected by the February 2020 full moon? How will Sagittarius be affected by the February 2020 full moon? How will Sagittarius be affected by the February 2020 full moon? How will Sagittarius be affected by the February 2020 full moon? How will Sagittarius be affected by the February 2020 full moon? How will Sagittarius be affected by the February 2020 full moon? How will Sagittarius be affected by the February 2020 full moon? Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. Fantastic. All right. At the heart of everything is the Seven of Wands. You're crowned by the Five of Swords. Then we have the Justice card, which is a Libra energy, a time frame of September 23rd to October 22nd. Then we have the Star card, an Aquarius time frame. This is January 20th to February 18th. The new moon is in Aquarius, so this new moon is going to be very powerful for you. Your root is the Page of Pentacles, an earth sign energy, a Taurus, a Virgo, a Capricorn. The full moon in March is in Virgo, so that is also going to be very impactful for you. The King of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Again, really calling to that Aquarius energy and also to that Libra energy that's here. Ace of Swords, you're definitely taking this gift of prosperity, understanding, knowledge is a part of you. Ten of Pentacles, absolutely beautiful. The Ace of Wands, passion and creativity, but you're using it here to defend yourself in some sort of way. And then the Six of Swords, taking your knowledge with you, moving forward. All right. Okay. So let's look at this moon before we dive into the tarot. And let me move this just a bit for you so that you can see things better. Sorry. No, it's like an earthquake, right? Okay. There we go. That's better. So we have here the full moon in Leo. So the full moon in February is in Leo, and this is going to be a time of confidence, of bringing confidence into your life, of embracing your majesty, of moving forward. But this is also a time of releasing shame. And I know we're not supposed to talk about shame, about jealousy, about anything like that, because we are supposed to be above that. But you know what? Here's the thing. People aren't. You know, people can get upset and angry. And when you have to kind of stifle it down and swallow it and just be like, oh no, I'm fine, that's harsh, and that's not good for us. So with this full moon being in Leo, you get to see your confidence. You get to see what unique attributes you bring to the world, and you get to celebrate it, and you get to look at what you have been fighting, because that's it. That's why the Seven of Wands is at your heart. What you have been fighting, what you have been trying to create within your life, and you're going to see blockages start to fall away as you really move forward. So the full moon in the Moonology cards says to surrender to the divine. And as you move forward in the Queen of the Moon cards, it's power. The full moon is power. So as you surrender to the divine and embrace your power, this says, do not let ego, do not let pride get in your way. Do not let ego get in your way. Do not let yourself sit there and think, well, you know, this person is doing this person is doing that, you know, I have to keep up, or, you know, what the heck, where am I headed, what am I doing? And really look at the way other people are looking at you and have that be the way that you judge yourself. Because this moon is about a purity of intention, a purity of purpose. It is the snow moon, so it brings this purity into your life. And this moon really makes me think of the goddess Rhiannon in Welsh mythology. Now, why I have her story here is because she encapsulates the whole power of this moon so beautifully. She reclaims her throne. Why did she have to reclaim it? Why was it taken away? Well, she was a fairy princess, quite literally. She was part of the Fae, and she married a mortal man. And her throne was ripped from her. She was married. It took them a while to conceive because Faes in, mythologies, they have a harder time conceiving than humans do. And so they went through a lot to be able to have this child. And after this child was born, she's also the goddess of horses, and the goddess of kings in the land. So this monster comes around, and he steals away the best horse from all the land. And because she is the goddess of horses, her son is the best colt, the best horse, baby horse in all the land. And so he gets stolen away from their kingdom. And then in the neighboring kingdom, who also has the best colts, the mare has just given birth, and he goes to steal that colt, but the king is already up. The king is waiting for him. So her baby is stolen and winds up being fostered, winds up being raised in this other kingdom. But she doesn't know. And she has like five nursemaids waiting on her, midwives attending her. And they look at her, and the baby is gone, and she's asleep. She's just given birth. And they go, oh my gosh, we're all going to die. We are all going to be killed because her baby was stolen. And they said, one life is one life worth more than all of ours? And they said no. So they smeared her with blood. They sprinkled bones throughout her bed, and they said that she ate her baby. And they said, of course she wouldn't be able to remember it. Like, of course she wouldn't confess to it, because what a heinous crime. And the king looked at her, and he said, well, I still love you, so I'm not going to kill you. But I am going to sentence you to 7 years of living in front of the palace that you were once queen in, and having to tell the story of how you ate your child, and how the bones were found in your bed, and now you live in rags. For 7 years, that's what you have to do. And she looks at him, and for the life of me, I don't understand why she just didn't leave. She just didn't go home. But she said, you know what, fine. That's my punishment. That's what I will do. And she handled with dignity and with generosity of spirit a punishment that was so unjustly hers, so unjustly placed on her. So when you have the injustices done in your life, when you look at Rhiannon, you're like, wow, it wasn't that. And on top of having to tell people, she had to carry people on her back to be able to go wherever they wanted to go as she told them the story. So she literally had to be a horse. And then her son is raised in this neighboring kingdom. He looks just like his father. He grows up super fast, so they know that he has Fae blood in him. And the king says to him, you know what, I know whose son you are. We found you in the horse barn. We always wanted a son, but I know whose son you are. And they send him back to the king. Rhiannon is placed again on her throne. Her son actually winds up inheriting the throne because the king dies shortly after that. And she lives happily ever after. Well, as happily ever after as they can in Welsh mythology. So here, why I'm telling that story and why it is so important to this time and this moon is because this is a moon of beginner mind. This is a moon of seizing your power, of coming out of ruts, of seeing why. And it might not be for anything more than this has given you compassion and understanding, and it has moved you forward. And so now, as you see where it is that you stand, as you see what it is that you want, you are going to be embracing a power with a purity of intention that was once denied to you, with this sense of respect and understanding not only for yourself, but for where you want to be and the pride and the purpose of how you are moving forward. Now, during this time, the void, of course, only happens it happens throughout the month of February, of course, but the void, of course, happens at 11:08 Eastern Standard Time, a.m. Okay? So 11:08 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. And the void, of course, says nothing will come of the situation. So be very mindful during this time of making any big decisions. I would actually not make any big decisions you could do from 10:30 to 11:30, or you could just do for, all of 11 o'clock. Because this is going to be a time where you're sitting there and you're looking at things and nothing comes of the situation the way that you thought it would. So just be very mindful of this. It's also going to be that you thought things were going to go this way and they wind up going completely the opposite. So this is going to be a time that can be very stressful, very overwhelming. And this will happen 11:08 a.m. on February 9th. And this is Eastern Standard Time. Okay? Then we move to the new moon. The new moon is on February 23rd. Now, this new moon brings new beginnings. It brings passion and creation, because it says a new start is coming. And as a new start is coming, you begin. And as you begin, this new moon is in Aquarius. It says you bring love into the situation. So Sagittarius, you bring love into the situation as you are moving forward. And you're moving from a winter. Now, this is also a time of incubating the seeds that you want to create within your life. This full moon in Leo, passion, creation, think of it as the sun, right? And the sun doesn't have any pride. But also the sun, when the sun becomes too intense, it can burn the land, right? So you have the passion, the creation, and you are a fire sign energy. So it's really going to be calling to this. While you have the air sign energy here with the new moon in Aquarius, there we go. It can feed the fire, yes, but air can also put out the fire. So know here that you're going to need a balance of your mind and your understanding to really move yourself forward. And that's what happens on February 23rd, or around February 23rd. You start to see yourself becoming more grounded, really following what your heart wants. And why is that important? Because I firmly believe that we are emotional beings. And as emotional beings, we have to listen to our hearts. If we do not listen to emotionally what we need to succeed, to thrive, to move forward, we start to wither. We start to get into ruts. We think, only logic, only, what we have read, what we can firmly understand is the truth. And then we lose some sort of, I want to say magic, because it's the Godhead that lies within us. It's not conjuring magic, though if you believe in that, then you start to lose the power of that too. What you really start to lose is your connection with divinity and your connection with the endless possibilities. And so here, with the beginner's mind, and this is a thing in Buddhism, it talks about the beginner's mind, which I always thought the grammar of the porcupine spirit was very odd. It says time for beginner mind. And the beginner mind is looking at things anew. It's looking at things with a sense of stepping back and saying, okay, yes, I'm not a beginner. You might have been doing this for years upon years, and definitely you've been living for years upon years. But you're looking at things in a new light, in a new way, with a new purpose. And as you do so, you start to plant the seed of what you desire into the earth. And you see here that this is a time of being in the womb. Now, if you are in the southern hemisphere, it's going to be literally a time of going into the womb. Well, not literally, but much more symbolically than in the northern hemisphere, because you're going into winter, right? And it's a time of growing and of understanding. And as you embrace this beginner's mind, as you take in the winter, and this is for the northern and the southern hemisphere, you start to see yourself moving towards the spring, towards the summer. And this is saying here that if you're in the northern hemisphere, you're really going to start taking action towards things. You've used that time in the womb. You've used that time to look, to understand, to grow, to build. You've used that time of creation to move you forward. And as you do so, you see a new start coming. You see new ideas coming away with you, and you start to build your passion. You start to build your understanding, and you bring love into the situation. You bring your heart, your passion, your desire. And this will really start showing its effects with the Virgo full moon, because the Virgo full moon is the full moon in March is in Virgo, and this says you are good enough. Now that can sound a bit condescending, goodness, tongue-tied a bit, so it can sound a bit condescending to say you're good enough, but what you're finding out here is that you are good enough. It's not seeking perfection, because perfection is a lie. Perfection can never be achieved, and it's simply there to make you buy this, buy that, do this, do that, always feel subpar, because you don't have, or you're always seeking more. So here, when you look at yourself and you say, I'm good enough, what I have is good enough, who I am is good enough, where I'm going, it's good enough, you find yourself empowered, you find yourself emboldened. And as you do so, you're going to really embrace the beginner's mind of the porcupine spirit, and the beginner's mind of all of February, which is really calling to you and saying you are moving towards a greater truth, a greater understanding. Now, the month of February, the spirit animal for February, let me just put this back so it doesn't fall. Okay, there we go. The spirit animal for February is the outer spirit, which says you are never alone, meaning that spirit is always with you. Divinity is always with you. Here, Luna is always with you. The moon is always with you. guiding you, moving you forward, helping you embrace what it is that you want and where it is that you want to be. This then moves you to the spirit animals of March, which is the wolf spirit and the whale spirit, which you turn knowledge into wisdom and you trust in the greater mysteries. So as you turn knowledge into wisdom, you trust in the greater mysteries that are around you. And you see that, again, all the hardships, all the pains, all the disappointments, all the reason for this beginner's mind, for looking at things anew, has given you a power and an integrity and a dignity that you hadn't thought of before. And as you embrace this, you find that the Seven of Wands, you find that the sense of needing to fight, the sense of needing to stand your ground, of using your passion and creativity to be like, hey, guys, look at what I can do. Look at who I am. Look at how I'm moving forward. That's not where you are anymore. You're like, okay, listen, you might not understand me, and that's fine. But I understand where I'm heading. And some people, Sagittarius, they will never have your back. And that is a hard lesson to learn. That is a harsh truth to understand. But it is part of truth. It is part of the truth of living. And some of these people might be people that you love, that you honor, that you respect, that you think, wow, I would really love it for this person to be on my side. And they're just not. Okay? So it can be at work, it can be at home, it can be a myriad of things. Keep on using your passion and your creativity to move yourself forward. Because look at these. These are angels' trumpets right here growing from this vine. And angel trumpets are gorgeous. But also think of an angel blowing their trumpet and saying to you, this is your passion, this is your creativity, this is why you're here. Why are you ignoring it? Or why are you trying to have people understand who just aren't? Now, this is not saying roll over, play dead, they don't get you, and let them walk all over you. No, this is saying stand in your truth, stand in your dignity, stand in your resilient spirit, and keep on moving forward. But you do not have to have them be on your side. Just, you don't. And as you come to that realization, as it's like, okay, people will not like what you're doing. People will say nasty things because that's what people do. They might be very well talking about you behind your back. This is also tremendous creative energy. Now, this could be wanting to embrace something creative. And maybe you've talked about it for a really long time. Maybe you're like, oh my gosh, I want to write this book or paint this painting or, do something like this. And you've talked about it so long that people stop believing that you will do it. They think that you gave up on that. You haven't given up on it. You've kind of put it on the back burner. And now you're going to let that passion flow. You're going to let yourself move forward to your grace, to your dignity, to where it is that you want to be. And as that passion flows, you are going to find yourself empowered. And as you find yourself empowered, you're emboldened. You move forward. You look at things in a new light, in a new way. And you stand your ground, most definitely. You stand your ground against the naysayers, but you also do not let, and this is a big thing, you do not let the naysayers overpower your own intuition, your own creativity, because here, what's going to happen during this full moon, and for the time from the 9th of February to the 9th of March, is that you're going to be facing things that you're like, wow, I faced this before. I've had this struggle, I've had this difficulty. And it can be that you just feel like you've had this difficulty before. It might not be in this lifetime, it might be from a past life. Or you might look at it and say, why am I following in the footsteps of my parents, my grandparents? I wanted to be different. I wanted to break this generational, it's not a curse, but it could feel like it. This burden that has been placed upon my shoulders. Why? Why has it been there? Why are you facing this? Because it's in your DNA. It's in your DNA. So you're looking here and you're looking at the way that you want to move forward, but you have this hurt, this pain that's pulling you back, that's making you doubt yourself, that's making you look at situations and say, how do I get to where it is that I want to be? How do I move forward in my power? And you're going to be finding out, first of all, either you step back and you say, is this mine? Is this something that I have to learn for my soul's development? Well, all of this is for your soul's development, but is this something specifically mine, or is this something I inherited? Because if it's something that you inherited, you might very well need to tell your spirit self and your ancestors and the people watching over you, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not having the struggle with money that everybody else had. I'm not, following this pattern, and then you have to break it. Because the thing is that we tend to follow the patterns that we were born into, that we were brought up in. And so with money, so many people have such trouble with money. And it's because, you could sit there. And I remember when my father used to pay the bills, he used to scream. Everybody used to scatter and hide. And it was just the most uncomfortable thing possible. And so that sort of relationship with money and having to pay it, pay bills and have things done like that, it makes me anxious. It makes me overwhelmed because it's something I inherited from him and his reaction to things. So here, you are going to find that sense of things that you have inherited, they start to become clear to you. And in a past life, if you start to look at it and say, oh, well, it's not inherited, it's not within my DNA, and it's not mine, but it's mine spiritually, it's mine inherited from my soul, and this is something that I need to work with. You're going to see that by just simply acknowledging it, you start to lift the cloak from your shoulders. You start to realize that you are prosperous, you are bountiful, you are moving forward towards the place that you want to be, and the money comes. The 10 of Pentacles. I mean, this is money through generations. So for a lot of people, this is going to be a generational holding you back. This is prosperity coming forward. This is wisdom handed down to you. And you're going to find yourself being inspired. Why? Because your ancestors, people who came before you and really have a vested interest in your life, your spirit guide, your angels, they're going to start talking to you and you're going to start listening, which is above all what is important. Because we as human beings, we don't listen. We don't listen to the wisdom that we're given. We think we know it all. So everybody has spirit talking to them all the time, but we don't hear. So now you're calming yourself, you're centering yourself, you're seeing that you are unstoppable. Not invincible, but unstoppable. And as you move forward in the power of your truth, as you move forward in the dignity of your soul, you move to the place that you want to be, to the bounty coming in, to the wealth becoming a part of you. And this has you being a page of pentacles. This has you being a student of your prosperity. This has you looking at things and planting the seed of intention and saying, I'm going to grow this garden. And I'm starting as a novice. I'm starting with a beginner's mind, a new mind towards money, a new mind towards prosperity, a new mind towards the abundance that is being let into my life. And what is the moon? The moon is, the full moon reflects the light of the sun. So what you're seeing here is a reflection of your passion, a reflection of your desire. As a fire sign energy, Sagittarius, you're seeing yourself really start to move forward in that reflection of what you're passionate about. And by it being a reflection, it's being a little bit calmer, gentler, more contemplative, more introspective. So it's going to be easier for you to come up with ideas, especially inspired by the moon. If you use this time as inspiration, it's going to be fantastic for you. All right. This is also saying that, as you plant these seeds of intention, you regain your spark by stepping back. You regain your desire, your ability to move forward. And as you do so, you take in your ideas, okay? You have the 5 of Swords here. You're seeing the struggles that you have been through, the sense of like, oh my gosh, and you have, you don't have a repeat of the number 6, but there is a sense of feeling like you have a repeat of the next number 6 here. It's a sense of passion, of creativity, of needing to take care of yourself and needing to take care of what you desire within your life. And as you do so, you take your knowledge, you take your understanding, and you move forward. You move forward to where it is that you want to be, to what it is that you start developing within your heart, within your soul, within yourself. And as you do this, yes, at your roots, you're planting, you're growing, you're becoming more. And then you embrace this kingly energy, which will come around you around the 23rd. It depends how sensitive you are to the situation. It might come a bit before this, but there is a sense here of knowing your mind and what you want. You're cutting through doubts and fears. You have the raven on your shoulders. You know that spirit has your back. You know that there is a sense of more coming towards you, more becoming a part of you. And as you do so, you are taking this gift of passion, of creativity, of understanding, of knowledge coming in, and the knowledge plays with the passion, and you're seeing how things fit together. This is a time where things really start making sense. And what's interesting here is, if you see here, the king is holding the sword, not by the hilt, but kind of by the hilt, decoratively. And here, the spirit is holding it by the blade. So this knowledge is going to cut in. It's going to cut deep. It's going to be a part of you. And it's going to be a lesson well earned and a lesson well gotten. Now, during this time, from February 9th to March 9th, the color of February 9th, the color of this full moon is amber. And what I'm seeing here is not the color amber really being important to you. I'm seeing it as a piece of amber being important, like taking a piece of amber. It can be in jewelry. If you have a piece of amber jewelry during this time, wearing it would be highly beneficial to you. It's going to help keep you grounded. But there's something here about needing this reminder of the earth. And, amber is like the life sap of a tree. It's how the tree bleeds when it's cut open. So here, with that piece of amber, you are connecting yourself with the roots that you are planting, with what it is that you desire to cultivate and create within your life. And then March 9th is represented by lavender. Now, if you hate the smell of lavender or something to that effect, you can have a lavender color. And I laugh because Spirit is saying that you can even have a lavender piece of jewelry because it's showing, lavender and amber. That's what Spirit is saying. Lavender and amber would be very beneficial. But if you can't combine these two, you can have a plant growing on the counter, and you can plant it in the spring if you're moving towards spring during this time, and if not, you can keep it in your house for winter, just as this reminder, or a piece of dried lavender, because I do see the lavender withering. And that's why I laughed. I was like, wow, that's a very interesting image, Spirit. But it doesn't mean that it has to wither within you. It's kind of like it's taking in, or wither for you. It's taking in the negativity. That's it. It's purifying the air, as plants do. Right? And it's moving you forward in prosperity. It's moving you forward in abundance. So you might find that when you get this lavender plant, or if you have this piece of lavender, things start to wither just a bit, and then it's regenerated, it's revitalized. And as you move forward, knowing your mind, knowing what you want, seeing things purified, you move forward towards the star. It's getting your wish. It's moving towards your prosperity. It's an Aquarius energy, which again means that this new moon is going to be astoundingly powerful for you. And so as you have this power come in, it's saying that Spirit is listening to you. Divinity is listening to you. This is getting what your soul wants. It's not exactly getting what you wish for late at night. And it's also saying that you have to put in the hard work. It's time. This is a hard-working moon. This is a moon of creativity and power and richness and a rejection of shame. It's taking back the power that you have given to other people, or that have taken your power from you. And now it's a reclaiming of your power and your truth. And as you move forward, you are embracing your prosperity, your abundance, this gift, and you move forward in your mind, in your power, in your soul. And as you do, doubts and fears start falling away. You start to see your worth so much more clearly. And the negativity that you've been carrying around, it's no longer a part of you. And again, you hold the sword in your hand. You have justice moving forward. And as you move forward in justice, you have wisdom coming in, which is very much like the wolf spirit is saying here. You turn knowledge into wisdom, and you start seeing the wisdom. You start seeing the justice. You start seeing your power. And as you do so, prosperity comes, and you plant seeds of new passion, of new creation. Now, this can also be a very passionate time for you sexually. Be very, very careful whose energy you share during this time. All right? Because you are going to really take in other people's energy. All right? Especially during sex. So be mindful of it. Be mindful and be careful who you have relationships with. Okay? Because if they're in a negative place, they can easily bring you down. Because your energy is so passionate. It's so creative. It's moving around you in a very almost life of its own type of way. So be very, very mindful of the connections that you make during this time. Yeah. If you're already in a relationship and you're sitting there and you're like, Dane, everything's great between us, then this is saying that the energy between you two will be heightened. And make the most of it. Have a lot of fun with it, because you are going to see that you really enjoy this moon if you're connecting with somebody who gets your soul, who understands you, and who you have a really close bond with already. You're in a relationship with, or you've been moving towards being in a relationship with for a really long time. This moon can be astounding for you. The passion can be amazing. Okay, so let's see what the Queen of the Moon has to say. How will the February 2020 full moon affect Sagittarius? How will the February 2020 full moon affect Sagittarius? How will the February 2020 full moon affect Sagittarius? Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. How will the February 2020 full moon affect Sagittarius? How will the February 2020 full moon affect Sagittarius? How will the February 2020 full moon affect Sagittarius? How will the February 2020 full moon affect Sagittarius? Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. All right. So what I love about this is that at your heart you have acceptance. You have acceptance over the hardships that you have been through, acceptance over the imbalances that have been around you, and you start to see your path. You start to embrace your truth. And as you do so, you have the full moon eclipse, which says conclusions are within reach. And here, this is you taking the conclusions. This is them being gifted to you by spirit. And this is something that becomes a part of you during this time. Because you are a fire sign energy, this is a gift just for you. You might find that you take this gift after this full moon or within March, because I don't have you seizing the wand completely yourself. I don't have a court card with the wand here, or it's showing the magician or anything like that. So here, this might be a little bit harder to embrace the creativity, to have the angels' trumpets be singing your songs and be moving you forward. But this is something that's at your heart. This is something that is driving you forward. This is something where you're getting your footing, and you're going to find that you go from taking this energy right here and using it as a sense of defending yourself, because that's what I saw right here. As soon as I put down the Ace of Wands, I was like, oh wow, you're using this creative energy as a defense. There's something here that you're trying to protect yourself from, or keep yourself from experiencing, because it's hard, it's overwhelming, and it's bringing up, Spirit is saying it's bringing up memories of failure and disappointment and heartbreak and pain and being laughed at and being ridiculed. And so now as you move forward, you seize your passion, you accept the hardships that you have been through and what has cultivated and created you and what has given you a unique and powerful voice. And as you do so, you realize that your conclusions are within reach, that your power is moving you forward towards where you truly want to be. And this brings you to action. This brings you to looking at, not action, attraction. This brings you to attracting your karmic debts, but it also moves you to action. It moves you to sitting there and saying, I'm not living in this bubble anymore. I'm not living this truth that was inherited or that is speaking to past life traumas or younger traumas. Now I'm moving forward. And nobody can hold me back. And you have to understand that you will be hitting situations where you're questioning yourself, where you're looking at things and you're going, oh, can I? And I know people sit there and say, Dane, I don't want to hear the negative. I only want to hear the positive. But if I don't tell you the negative, and you have hardships and you have pains that come your way, and I told you that this was all going to be roses and butterflies month after month, day after day, it's a lie. It's a lie, and I will not lie to you. All right? So here, as you embrace your passions, as you embrace your ideas, you start moving forward. You start seeing that you're not held back anymore. And if you want a reader who only tells you the roses and butterflies, please, by all means, there are plenty of them out there. And then we have the third quarter moon, which says adjustments are required. You have to adjust what you're looking at, because your attraction, you were attracting the negative. You were attracting, the hardships and pains that were inherited, whether consciously or subconsciously. It was happening. And now adjustments are made. You're adjusting the situation, and you move yourself forward. You move yourself forward to prosperity, to success, to an end of a cycle when it comes to money. So a closing of the door when it comes to hardships and pains and disappointments. Will it happen all at once? No. This is about a lifetime's work, all right? And how this moon moves you towards the symphony, towards the brilliance, into the beauty that is your existence. And as you do so, you embrace discernment. You start to look at what you're planting, what you're developing, and this moon blows your mind. as you're looking at different things, and you find that you're creating and cultivating what you love, what brings you passion, and you're looking at your prosperity and you're saying, how do I invest this? How do I move forward? What is it that I do? And it doesn't have to mean that you start doing investments with your money, but it does mean that you start looking at things and you start saying, okay, where do I want to be? How do I want to move forward? What is it that I want to plant for myself to reap the benefits of? And as you look at that and as you're open and honest with yourself, you see yourself moving towards the supermoon, which says emotions are running high. You are running high. You are intrigued and blessed and moving forward and cultivating what you desire. And as you do so, you're taking your knowledge and your understanding of situations and of what you have been through in your life, and you are moving forward. Now, this could be actually going on a trip somewhere. This could be moving forward in business. But it's you taking your knowledge and saying, I'm not staying stagnant. I'm not staying where I'm not comfortable anymore. And then this brings you peace. This brings you peace of self and power of mind and intention. You start really moving forward. You start knowing your mind, what you want, where it is that you want to be. And then this moves you to the waxing moon, which says the energy is gaining momentum. You start seeing your soul's wish being granted. You start seeing that you are attracting the prosperity, the abundance, the power to you. As you do so, you know that emotions are running high. You know that this is going to be an intense moon for you, but you see conclusions are within reach. You see that you are moving towards what it is that you desire, cultivating, creating, and manifesting within your life. This moves you to trust. This moves you to trusting the knowledge that the divinity is giving you. This moves you to trusting yourself, the way that you want to move forward, what it is that you are looking at creating. And you know that you are protected. You know that there is beauty around you. And as you embrace trust, you step out of your comfort zone and embrace justice and understanding and power. And you claim your throne. You claim what it is that is yours. This is going to be a moon where people see your brilliance. People see your mind, okay? People start looking at you and being like, oh, wow, Sagittarius, I never thought of you this way, or I never saw you in this light, but you have a beautiful mind. You have this fantastic way of moving forward, and you have this way of drawing everybody in, and they're going to really start listening to you. And this moves you to making adjustments for being this king, for being this actor upon the stage, this King of Swords, the actor upon the stage, the embracing your knowledge, the embracing your wisdom, the knowing your mind, and not making compromises. Now, this can also mean that you are a bit snippy at times, okay, because that's what all air sign energies have to worry about, is being a bit snippy. And it can be around this new moon, new moon, when you start to see things developing and you're bringing love into the situation and you're seeing yourself move forward. You might get snippy because you're like, oh my gosh, I want things to move faster, or why don't you understand? I'm making it super clear. But it's because they're not functioning. People aren't functioning on the same level as you. You're really high. Your vibrations are high, your energy is high, and other people just aren't getting it. They're not there yet. So know that you can be a bit snippy, or an air sign around you, a Gemini, a Libra, an Aquarius, might be a bit snippy, but that's because you guys are on different pages. You're looking at things differently. Actually, you might be reading from a very different book. So communication can get a bit tied up during this time. If you bring love into the situation, if you move forward with love, with respect, with understanding, you will find yourself astoundingly empowered. This moves you to making the adjustments. I mean, those are the adjustments that you make, and the conclusions are within reach. The power, the bounty, the beauty that you want within your life is within reach. Seize it. Your subconscious message for this whole entire reading is the Artist. Now, this deck has 2 extra cards in it, the Artist and the Well. And so here you are creating, you are taking the energy of the world and you are creating what you desire, the way that you want to move forward. You are creating a masterpiece, and there is a masterpiece within you. So that is absolutely beautiful. And then this moves you towards the subconscious message, of the moon, with the Moonology cards of Luna, and it says confidence is your key to success. So with the new moon in Leo, this Leo moon is astoundingly powerful for you because you have the new moon here, you have the full moon here, and as you move forward in confidence, as you leave behind ego, as you leave behind pride, and you sit there and say, what do I need to cultivate and develop for me? You find yourself on fire, you find yourself inspired, which leads you to the subconscious message of the Queen of the Moon. It leads you to a surrender to the higher power, to what it is that you truly want, and the reason why you walk this earth. And as you surrender, you are inspired and you are absolutely blessed. Yeah, inspiration is calling to you. Answer. Answer it. Because Sagittarius, you will not be disappointed. All right, Sagittarius, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. Have a blessed moon, and I love you all. Bye.